Hello and welcome to Time on Screen, the Warner Wild podcast where we discuss movies and time and watches and watch culture and the way those things all intersect. My name is Zach Kazan. I'm the editorial director at Warner Wild. I'm really happy to be joined today by Kat Shoulders, media director at Warner Wild. Kat, how's it going?
Guess what? Media director and, as of now, homeowner.
Homeowner, hey, congratulations.
Yeah, I just closed on my house.
Just closed, fresh from the closing. You were in that closing, I bet, and you were thinking, I got to get all this paperwork signed and these checks.
I got to go record a podcast.
So I can go record a podcast, a Time on Screen podcast.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You are recording. Where are you recording? You appear to be in the Riverside studio. Are you?
Yeah, I'm in no man's land right now.
No man's land. So not in the. Are you in the new house?
No.
Okay.
I'm just in an apartment at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
didn't think that the bed on the floor behind me was a very good look. So I
listen. Come as you are. It's sort of always our philosophy here at Warner. But congratulations on the purchase of a new home. Always something worth celebrating. We could have done Glengarry Glen Ross, which is a real estate movie on this podcast. That was an option.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't choose it. Maybe it would have been appropriate.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. So we're doing the Time on Screen. We've the last time we did this was ahead of the San Francisco show, and we did a San Francisco themed movie. And ahead of the Chicago Windup, we're doing a Chicago themed movie. We're doing High Fidelity today, which was a movie that I threw out in a list of suggestions, and among other Chicago movies, and we'll talk about those.
Yeah.
And you actually highlighted this as one of a few that you'd like to do, and I think it was where we overlapped the most. So we'll talk about why, and why this movie might be the most appropriate Time on Screen movie we've ever done in a low key way.
I'm excited to dissect that. Yeah.
Before we do that, it's a Warner Wild podcast, so we've got to do a wrist check. What are you wearing today, Kat? On the day of your closing, I hope it's something notable and memorable.
Yes, I'm wearing my Rolex GMT Master 2 with the Pepsi.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's 4th of July weekend, so I have a little red, white, and blue on, and then that's really it. That's the only reason I picked it. And the closing officer, loan officer, whatever, or title, I don't know what they're called, but he commented on my watch today and asked me about it, and that was kind of cool.
There you go.
And he said he also had one, which is awesome.
Of course he does. Yeah. That's great. That's a great watch.
Thank you.
I'm wearing a watch that I haven't for review. I have this watch for a month. I'm really excited to just
oh dang, that's a long time.
It's the H. Moser Pioneer in 40. It's I think it's called the Arctic Blue or something.
Yeah.
They're
I'm really excited. Are you gonna bring that to Chicago?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah. It's great. So I got to say, I've reviewed the 43 mil, the larger Pioneer.
Yeah.
And I like that watch, but man, the 40 just really highlights that it's the right size. This is the appropriate size for this case. It's really good.
I really, really wanted them to make a smaller Pioneer for a long time. I've also worn the bigger ones in the past and reviewed them, and they just were kind of a plate on my wrist a bit, because it's a lot of dial on these watches, and I'm really excited to get to try that one on. Yeah,
it's honestly great. And I like the larger one. It's not that I don't like the larger one. The larger one is a statement watch. It's sort of it's brash. It's it's sporty. The 40 just feels more like an everyday watch, a little more under the radar, a little sleeker, but it still has
under the radar. We should have added that to our cliches. I don't think we did.
It is a cliche. Yeah.
We'll add it for the next episode that we do.
Sorry, everyone, for the cliches.
Just thought
in
about
honor
that.
of this movie, we should do top 5 cliches used by Zach Kazan on Warner Wild Podcasts.
I'm sure I have my own.
Yeah, we all do. They're cliches ultimately because there's some truth. To them.
Totally.
So.
Well, cool. And I'm sorry, what color dial did you have on
It's the blue one. It's the I don't know what they have a specific name for, but it's a really deep kind of effervescent. It's beautiful. It's it's the most blue.
They do colors really well. Yeah, really well.
Yeah. It's good. This is kind of a signature color for them. It has the hidden signature. It's good. I really like it.
Moser's having a moment.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I've been a fan of Moser for a long time, but it feels they're a brand on the rise. They had the new speaking of real estate, they had the new space in Pal Expo. They've kind of upped the ante a little bit, become a little more ambitious. Their whole thing forever was no, not forever, but very rare. Like this idea that like they're, small insider, and like it feels like they're moving past that. Like they're aspiring to be bigger now, which is just like kind of an interesting moment for them.
Yeah,
so
it's cool. It's cool to see.
All right, so High Fidelity is the movie we ultimately chose to kind of like set the scene for Chicago. It's like a Chicago movie. Before we like really get into that, I do think it's worth talking about Chicago movies and Chicago as a setting for movies. So I'm just going to list off like a handful of movies, the ones that like we kind of were like batting around and suggesting. And I've got a couple on here too that I think I didn't necessarily share with you. I thought of like later that I think are actually like really good choices. So Ferris Bueller, I think iconic Chicago movie. The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's second Batman film. My Best Friend's Wedding, Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, like iconic romantic comedy, great, on location shooting in Chicago. The Blues Brothers. Thief, Michael Mann's Thief is a great Chicago movie. Glengarry Glen Ross. Which, written by David Mamet, and, important Chicago playwright and mostly playwright, but also screenwriter and filmmaker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And like this movie could be set anywhere, I think. It's just like but it has like some like Chicago ties because of Mamet and sort of like the way they speak, which is of course so important. The Fugitive.
So good.
Yeah. And then I added two documentaries. Yeah. So one is I Am Trying to Break Your Heart, which is a documentary about Wilco and the making of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Okay.
Wilco is like to me, like, the iconic Chicago rock band. I mean, others might disagree, but one of my favorite bands, and this is a great, great documentary. And the other one is Hoop Dreams, which is, I don't know if you've seen Hoop Dreams, Kat. Hoop Dreams is like one of the great documentaries ever made. And it's about, it follows two like high school basketball prodigies basically as they try to like become professional athletes essentially, like through like like their adolescence into high school, and then like they attempt college basketball and then professional careers. And it's just like it's a great movie about basketball. And like
recent, is this like a recent?
No, this is 90s. This is like mid 90s.
Okay
And it's just a great movie about like not just basketball, it's a great sports documentary, but it's also just like about education and the American dream.
That's
and
great.
It's
like
awesome. It's really an iconic movie. Couldn't talk about Chicago movies without talking about
basketball.
Hoop Dreams. It's also very much about like the city of Chicago.
That's cool.
But let's talk about like why we didn't land on some of these movies. Like The Dark Knight was the one that I initially immediately thought of, but it's like it's shot in Chicago. Famously.
It's really meant to be in like Gotham/New York, though.
Right. That's the thing. Is like Gotham City is like a corollary for New York.
Yeah.
Although like it's so recognizably Chicago, it didn't feel right because of the.
It's a weird one. Yeah, it's a weird. It's in the gray area for sure.
It might be like the best, like it might have like the best action scenes ever shot in Chicago, and like the I can't think of another movie off the top of my head that has like
action wise. Yeah. You might have that one for sure. Yeah. I do have some sleepers on the list myself to add.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. What have you got?
One of my favorite movies, Adventures in Babysitting, is based in Chicago.
That's a blind spot for me. I'm not afraid to say it. Have not seen Adventures in Babysitting.
Really? Oh my gosh. It's I don't think it's a John Hughes, but it's got that like John Hughes-esque vibe. Speaking of John Hughes, Home Alone.
Yeah, we've done that on Time on Screen.
Yeah,
so like
we've
done
that.
I feel like all the John Hughes movies are like
pretty much based there.
They kind of count, but they're Chicago suburbs movies.
Yeah,
and like,
that's true.
I think that the Chicago natives will tell you that like the suburbs are like a different animal,
true.
like
that's
entirely.
True.
They have their own culture there.
I have a rom-com that is filmed downtown Chicago, and that is While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, love that movie. And then Backdraft, if you're a Backdraft fan.
Sure.
Kurt Russell. That one is filmed in Chicago too.
I forgot about While You Were Sleeping. Like I think of My Best Friend's Wedding as like the like iconic Chicago rom-com. That's just like a great movie. I rewatched that recently and I thought like, man, this like movie really actually holds up great.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers, I think it would be a lot of people's like kind of first round draft pick for Chicago movies, but that's
even
not
over
one
Ferris Bueller's. You think Blues Brothers?
I think they might be like 1 and 2 for a lot of people, but like I gotta say, like Blues Brothers is not a movie that really
showcases.
registers to me personally.
Yeah,
I mean, certainly I think it showcases Chicago just fine, but it was not a staple for me. Was it for you? Blues Brothers?
No, not a staple for me. But Ferris Bueller's was for sure.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's one that we should do eventually, I think. Yeah. Just on its own, because it's just a really fun movie.
Yeah.
And has a great car, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great.
It's great all around. Should we mention a few shows? Do you have any on your shows?
Oh, well,
on your list?
I didn't. I mean, I didn't have any listed, but ER is, to me,
probably the biggest, I would say.
Probably the biggest, yeah.
Yeah.
And they really did every season, they would do on location stuff in Chicago every season to kind of highlight the city, even though most of it was, of course, filmed on sound stages in Los Angeles or Burbank or whatever. But yeah, ER is, I think, that's a show that kind of introduced an entire generation to Chicago, in some ways. I think in the 90s it was ER and the Chicago Bulls, and that was that sort of defined the city to much of the country, I think. Yeah. What other any other shows for you? Or
obviously the Bear being more sort of a recent pickup, and then I Googled and found that Married with Children was based in Chicago, and Family Matters, which are pretty big, 80s and 90s shows. Yeah.
Are you caught up with the final season of The Bear?
No, I haven't even started it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't. Maybe I'll watch it when I'm offline in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to finish it before I get to Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're gonna run this podcast, but I might already be in Chicago by the time it runs. But I gotta say, I wasn't blown away by the first 2 episodes I saw. The Bear is a show that, I don't know, it's hit and miss for me.
Yeah, I think it's reached its run. I'm glad. I think this is the end.
It's over. Yeah, this is it. This is the last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they could have ended it with the previous one really well. I think they could have walked away at that point. So
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that clearly, according to the I read an interview where the show's creator said that it was intended to be one longer season, and FX or Hulu or whatever decided that no, we're going to split it up.
Of course,
because you can sell more ads that way.
Give people random episodes during.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. Did you watch the one-off episode?
It wasn't
I heard
great.
I heard it wasn't great. That's the thing is you run the risk of going out on a low note when you extend something, and
it was very weird.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we didn't pick any of those movies or shows.
To
discuss. We chose High Fidelity. Kat, what's your relationship to High Fidelity? Do you remember the first time you saw it?
This one I do not. I have no recollection of when I first saw it, and I will say it's been a long while since I watched it, and I think that's why I kind of picked it on this list, because it was something that I was interested in rewatching.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen the show, the remake, or whatever resurgence of the television show a couple years ago, but I don't know. At some point, I'm sure in my early adulthood, high school years, I watched it. What about you?
I saw this. I remember seeing this in the theater. The movie came out in the spring of 2000, so I would have been
a millennial.
Yeah, I would have been a junior in high school, I guess, in the spring of 2000. And I remember seeing this.
I would have been too young.
Well, I'm old, so there you go. I saw all these movies as a teenager. I very specifically remember seeing this movie with a group of friends at the really shitty movie theater in Concord. It was not playing at the nice movie theater. It was playing at the we called it the dirt theater, because it had this dirt parking lot, and it was just really old and dilapidated. And I remember we liked it. We all enjoyed it. It got really good reviews at the time. It's really, really well regarded.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being it felt like a big launching pad for Jack Black. This was definitely my first introduction to Jack Black, and I mean, he's really been with us ever since for 26 years now. He's just been kind of omnipresent. And I hadn't seen this movie in a while until I revisited it for this podcast, and I liked it. Of course, on rewatch, it has a lot of great qualities.
Yeah,
I had forgotten it's kind of a downer. It's mostly it's mostly a relationship movie, and it's about, you know, a breakup essentially, and John Cusack's character dealing with like kind of the fallout of a breakup and getting back together with this woman, and like kind of like looking back at previous relationships.
Yeah.
And like that's obviously a lot more relatable to me now, 20 plus years after the fact, than it was when I was like, you know, 16 or 17 when I saw this movie. So there's like a lot more like pathos evident in it. But John Cusack's character is like not very likable, and neither is Jack Black's character, I think. And we'll get to that later. But like this movie's kind of filled with people that I didn't want to spend time with.
No, I thought the exact same. This is actually like kind of hard to watch. I cringed a lot through a lot of the movie just because, John Cusack's character is a bit insufferable, I think, to me. And he's a grown adult, which I don't really know the age range that they're in. I want to say personally, I feel like it's like early 30s, but maybe they're meaning to be in like their late 20s. I don't know, but he's a man child. Like,
yes,
plain simple.
They all are.
Yeah. They all have a lot of growing up to do, and he grows up a little bit at the end, like a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, and it ends kind of, it's like spoilers obviously for High Fidelity. We'll be talking about, I don't know if we'll like get to the details at the end, but like it ends kind of like abruptly, I think.
Yeah.
And with like sort of some unearned, I don't know, like redemption or like self-awareness that like kind of comes out of nowhere.
The world doesn't revolve around me.
Yeah. But he gets there in a way that's like not, like I wasn't like, it didn't really make sense in the moment to me. I don't know. Like it kind of, the ending didn't really.
So, something we should talk about, and maybe I might have missed this in your outline, but this movie like breaks the fourth wall too, and that's kind of a big part of it. So he's like talking to the audience, and we're kind of going through this story with him, and we're looking back at his relationships and the shitty things that he's done, basically.
Yeah. Do you like that? Do you like that storytelling device? Do you like it when characters do that?
I think it makes sense. It's okay to me in this movie. I don't always like that. I'm not like a big, what's the Marvel, what's the Ryan Reynolds Marvel character? You know, that does that a lot.
It's on the tip of my tongue, of course.
I want to say Daredevil.
It's not. That's also what I want. Yeah, it's not. Listeners are screaming it at their.
I know.
But yeah, we know what
sorry. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that in that case, but I think it works. It works here for this movie, I think.
It's. I mean, it's based on a novel, which I've not read, but I assume it's you know, kind of a device of the novel. It would be weird if like the novel was not narrated in first person, and that was a function of the script.
Deadpool. That's the name of the. Yes. Sorry.
Of course, yeah, Deadpool. Probably not a future time on screen. Movie, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like of narration in general. Mm-hmm. I think it's almost always not additive, you know, to a movie, and it's kind of lazy writing, and like the fourth wall thing in addition to that is also like not my favorite thing. But like it's also kind of hard to imagine this movie without it.
Yeah. I don't mind if we get like a little narration in the beginning, and then maybe we get a little bit at the end to kind of set the story. But yeah, I can see how this can be annoying for people. There's also some scenes that you don't know if they're reality or not too.
Right.
They don't take very long to realize what it is, but I could see people not liking that as well.
Yeah. He's also just like, he talks a lot.
Yeah.
And as you point out, he's sort of like an insufferable person, and that's a challenge.
Yeah.
To deal with, because he's just like it would be easier to stomach if we liked him, you know, but we don't really like him, so it's
I think there's a unique balance to characters like this. There's a lot of shows and movies that I watch that the characters aren't likable.
Mm-hmm.
In any sort of capacity, but they're watchable, and you like and enjoy watching them even when they're terrible. This sort of toted the line where I didn't really enjoy watching it so much, and I don't really know why. I don't know where the line is between like, this person's a terrible person, I like them and I want to continue watching this, or turning the TV off. But I was really close to like, I don't know if I can finish.
You're really close to like, all right, let's do Bueller instead.
Yeah, but I wanted to finish it because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and Yeah, it's not my favorite Chicago movie, I'll say that.
Yeah. No, I mean, neither isn't mine, but I do think that it's extremely relevant
Yeah.
for this podcast. And so I think it's a good thing to discuss because like in addition to it being a relationship movie about, this guy who is like incapable of like having a real adult relationship.
Yeah.
It's also like, and this was like the initial draw to me when I was a teenager. This is a movie about an enthusiast community. Like this movie has like, I found so many parallels between the way these characters interact with each other at this record store.
Yeah.
And in their lives to the watch world. And I would say so this podcast started off as a podcast about watch spotting, and it has evolved over the years into much more of a conversation show about movies, which is fine for me because it's a lot more interesting for me to frankly just like talk about movies that are tangential to watches than talk about like watch spotting in movies, especially as we've come to understand that most watch spotting in movies is like placed there by brands and like not very organic, and it's just like it's less interesting. But this movie is like really about a community, and it's about, I think that like we both can acknowledge and see ways that there are like overlaps between like the music nerd community that's portrayed in this film and like the watch enthusiast community, and like vinyl collecting and watch collecting, there's overlaps. Totally. There, I mean, I'm an overlap there. You can see in the background. Too. You can see my turntable in the background. Like that was my first like enthusiast pursuit. So like, I think this movie's like extremely relevant to our audience and our
and
world.
if I had to pick between vinyl and watches, I'd pick vinyl. I'd pick music all day, every day. I'd rather have music in my life than watches.
Yeah, that's hard. I didn't know I was going to have to pick between music and watches on this podcast. I will say that like as the years have gone by, I've become less interested in like I've collected a lot of vinyl. I've collected a lot of records and CDs, in over the course of my adult life. And I used to say things like, "Oh, I'll never be a streaming person," but I can't. Easy. I can't remember the last time I touched that turntable in the background. Like I just don't use it as much because of the convenience of
same.
Streaming is just like so available. And like the thought has crossed my mind, like is there a similar trajectory in watches? Like am I someday like going to have a bunch of watches in a watch box but just wear an Apple Watch all the time? I don't think so, but like that would be the equivalent.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Because I work in the watch industry, like it's less likely.
Yeah.
Do you? So are you? We don't think we've ever really talked about this. Are you like a vinyl collector? Do you collect?
I'm not a collector. No. I don't seek to collect. I have records that I like and play. And when my dad passed a few years ago, I inherited his record player and speakers and hundreds of records, and I have those and I love playing them now. And I do really enjoy it, especially in like a late afternoon, putting on a couple records and kind of chilling out after the workday is really nice. But I'm by no means like, I'm not an audiophile. I think they sound great, and I care a lot about taking care of them and the record player, but I'm not a nerd about it. I'm definitely not snobby about it like these guys are. And I think that's where we see a lot of parallel to our community.
I was snobby about it, and I was a nerd about it, and I spent a lot of time thinking about. You. I don't know if I deserve to be forgiven. I spent a lot of years just obsessing over things like the right, like
needle
speaker cables and like the proper way to clean a record and like all these, and I had like very strong opinions on like a lot of these things. And man, like it really,
but I think that's like a coming of age thing too. I think we all go through that phase.
A snob
early
phase?
On. I do. I think you get into something early in life. I would say, in your early 20s, you're becoming the person you are in this world. And a lot of people find different things. Maybe it's bikes and cycling. Maybe it's watches. Maybe it's cameras. And most of us kind of grow out of this. I would like to think that most of us grow out of the snobbiness phase in that hobby. But I think some people stay in it for a long time. Yeah.
Is that an area where you see a lot of overlap with the watch world?
I do. Yeah. Certainly like their attitude, when in the movie people walk into the store and ask about certain records, and I think they all sort of are snobby in their own ways. Jack Black's character probably the most, like, outwardly
Yeah.
snobby about, like, music in general and judgmental amongst other people's musical choice, and I think, like, hey, someone's, like, walking in to buy a record. Like, who cares what like, they're buying a record. That's awesome. It's awesome that they're buying a medium that's, like, even at this time in the early 2000s, people weren't really listening to as much. So, I think I'm sort of like come as you are, and I've always been that way towards watches too. But yeah, I could see just a huge parallel. People judge what watch you're wearing, and there's a lot of snobby people in both of these communities for sure.
Yeah, there's also just a lot of like obsessiveness, like
That's
in
true.
both
Yeah.
communities too, and like I think that that's the thing that really that links like the music, like the music guy, the record store guy
Yeah.
or girl, and like the watch enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
Is this kind of like there's like all these little like throwaway lines about like the version of a record that is like available, like like the French pressing of the Captain Beefheart record or whatever, and like that feels
Yeah.
that feels like something I recognize like
Yeah.
in the watch world for sure. It's like talking about like the minutia of like a Rolex reference and like a like a
Mm-hmm.
flat four or something. Like
Yeah.
it's very yeah, like
There
there's
there
like that obsessive level of detail and
there's a lot of parallels, and I think, if you haven't watched this movie or if you haven't watched it in a long time, I think, you'll kind of feel at home. Like, I felt at home with these characters in a way,
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I know these people, either I've acted like them before in the past, or I know people like that."
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. So like one of the key settings for this movie is Championship Vinyl, this record store
Mhm.
in Chicago, and it's like we're told it's in like a bad neighborhood, and it's a place that like
Yeah.
doesn't seem to ever have any customers in it, and it's
Mhm.
just John Cusack and his two employees just kind
Yeah.
of like bullshitting all day, making lists of favorite side one, track one, and on and on and on. Do you have any like have you ever like experienced or have a relationship with like a store like this, whether it's like a record store or some other kind of like hangout? You're younger than me, so like maybe you like have never shopped in a store and like have just ordered everything
I
off of
have.
Amazon.
No.
But like I there are stores like this in my life.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you have like like have had an
No,
experience
I
like
mean,
that.
I grew up sort of definitely in the suburbs of Nashville, so there was, like, strip malls and, like, big bookstores, like a Barnes& and Noble or a Books A Million. There wasn't any, like, cutesy little
Hmm.
cool shops like this to hang out in, so,
Yeah.
there was a music store, mm, growing up that was, like, kind of a chain around the area. They would have just a ton of CDs. I do remember going there a lot to buy stuff, and they've since closed, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have places like this near me growing up. So yeah, there wasn't really. We hung out in the mall parking lot and the theater parking lot pretty much as
Oh, I
kids.
definitely hung out in the movie theater parking lot a
Yeah.
lot, when I was in high school. There were 2 stores that, like, this movie has always made me think of that were, like,
Yeah.
essential to my adolescence. One is, there's a music store, I don't know if it's still there, in Manchester, New Hampshire called Music Connection, which is a record store. It wasn't, like, a cool record store like Championship Vinyl is, like, it was just
Mhm.
sort of like a hodgepodge of stuff. It was large and they had like everything, but it wasn't like focused on sort of like
They have like
you
comic books and stuff too there.
no,
Okay.
it was just music. It was just
Okay.
I mean, they might have had like they had like yeah, I think they sold like turntables and other things, like,
Okay.
some like audiophile equipment, but like it was mostly just like records, but not like the curated kind of like, cool music that like young people are interested in
Yeah.
necessarily. Uh, and the thing I remember about that store is that there was an old guy who worked there who ran the place. I think he was the owner, and he smoked constantly. And that like in this movie, John Cusack smokes like in
Yeah.
the store, which is like not great for like the
No.
records, like because the records like
No.
pick up that smell.
Mm.
And also I remember this guy, he never had music playing in the store. It was always conservative talk radio,
What?
which was like I thought was very lame. Like I would go in there on like
Yeah.
a Saturday afternoon or something, and like to look at records, and I'd hear like Rush Limbaugh on the radio, and it was just like a real buzzkill. So like a buzzkill. So like I wasn't like, it was the only like independent record store really in Manchester. So like I'd go there to like look at records and shop for records, but it like
conservative.
Yeah, it was very, very strange experience. The other store that like really does feel sort of like championship vinyl to me that I want to shout out is also no longer exists, but it was called Sight and Sound in Waltham, Massachusetts, and it wasn't a music store. It was a Laserdisc store. I don't know if you remember the Laserdisc format.
Yeah,
but they sold Laserdiscs and later DVDs and Blu-rays. They closed like shortly after Blu-rays were like introduced. But my dad has always been a big collector of like of movies. So first on Laserdisc and then later DVDs and Blu-rays. And we would go to Sight and Sound on a regular basis and just like look through, like look at records, not records, Laserdisc and buy stuff. And it was a similar kind of environment where people were just there to like just bullshit about movies and talk about like, you know, like the emerging technology of like DVDs and Blu-rays. And there's always a lot of conversation. And it was like, this was like a well-known, there might be people listening to this podcast who like are familiar with Sight and Sound, because it was like a destination for Laserdiscs. Like, it was like, if you were a Laserdisc collector in the 90s, you knew about this place. Like Martin Scorsese was like a mail order customer of Sight and Sound, and Roger Ebert was a mail order customer of Sight and Sound. So like it was like
interesting.
It was kind of a thing, and like that store really, it really feels a lot like championship vinyl to me, and that was a great experience. Like I cherish that, like, you know, having a, you know, an experience like that, a place like that, to kind of like, you know, learn about these like cultural artifacts, and like there's a community of people there, you know, who were interested in like this same thing, and like
it is so cool. I wish I had grown up with something like that. You know, you see it in shows and movies, but yeah, we have places like that in Nashville, in downtown, and I was just too far from that as a kid, like I said. But you know, I was just thinking, like, the world has come so far. I remember being a kid or a teenager and going into maybe a Best Buy or a Media Play at the time, like big, like, you know, huge stores that carried DVDs and just multimedia stuff. But like just going in and putting on headphones to listen to a CD or listen to an album, because you can listen to it online. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you can just like stream a brand new album the day it comes out.
Yeah.
You know, you pay for the service, obviously, and you'll pay for it for the rest of your life. But
yeah,
you know, it's so different. It's really different.
Yeah. It's kind of sad that we've lost some of that. Like, I don't know. I feel very nostalgic for physical media.
You go with your friend, you know, you go with your friends, and it was like this, you know, this community thing. And yeah, we've lost so much of that, I think.
There's also something that happens with the way you appreciate music when you can just stream anything, as opposed to like having to buy a CD that costs like $18 plus tax, and you wouldn't know if you liked any songs beyond like the one or two singles that you've heard.
Taking a gamble.
And like that's a formative experience when you're a kid and you don't have money, and you're like, you know, you're going to the mall or whatever with like your allowance or whatever you earn from your like minimum wage job, and you can buy one CD, and it's a roll of the dice. Like, like, is this going to be good, or is this like,
you appreciated the album. I would remember taking out like the CD booklets and flipping through them and reading them, and same with, you know, albums that I have now, the sleeves and stuff. But yeah, there's a whole experience involved in that. And yeah, you spent, at least in my teenage years, my hard-earned money after school working my job to buy those CDs.
What was your after school job when you were?
So I had a couple. I started out as like just reception help at a doctor's office for years. And then I worked at Books A Million for like 3 or 4 years in my later high school years. Yeah. Yeah.
So like Books A Million, like I mean, it's a big national chain. We have a Books A Million here in Concord, but like I imagine that not a comp for like the championship vinyl experience, probably.
No. Yeah. And now they've expanded beyond books, because they carry things like movies and music and
Sure.
vinyls even, I think, because people don't buy books anymore either, so they're
Yeah.
trying to sell everything they can, but, yeah, not the same experience. I had a lot of fun, though, working at a bookstore like that, but not the same vibe.
I worked at I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. I worked at a movie theater, like, all through high school. Man,
That's cool.
I loved that job. Like, it was
Yeah.
great. Like, I was, like, literally, like, minimum wage. I think I made, like, $5.15 an hour or something. But free movies and,
Popcorn?
as a 16-year-old, you don't really have a lot of expenses. I would, like, just take my entire paycheck and, like, go blow it on DVDs or
Yeah.
CDs or later records or, whatever,
Same.
and
Yep.
man, what a life.
Those were the days.
You really lost something. Now you're buying houses, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are we
I know.
doing here? Yeah, this movie does make me kind of kind of nostalgic for
It
physical
does.
media. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's like there's actually an interesting conversation happening like right now as we speak about like DRM on on video games. So I don't know if you
Mhm.
caught this. This isn't in
No.
the outline, but like so the new Grand Theft Auto game is not going to have like a physical edition. They're just going to sell a code, so like a
Well, that's
download
boring.
code. And apparently Sony is going to stop producing like physical discs for their new PlayStation system. I'll leave a link to the story in the show notes. I'm
Wow.
not a gamer, so I don't have like all the details off the top of my head. But like this is
Yeah.
like a controversial thing because a lot of people experience these games through like library loans or borrowing them
Yeah.
from a friend or
Mhm.
something. And now like
What
you're
is that, GameStop? I think that store still exists, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, they have
Yeah. So like they'll
all
just be
the
selling
yeah.
codes and not and not like physical things. And like
Yeah.
you'll buy these codes and the Sony or whoever has like DRM on it and they could like they have the rights to like change it
Yeah.
or take it away, and
Mhm. It
that
stinks.
it's like it seems unfair that if you buy something, someone else still retains certain rights to it. That doesn't happen when you buy
Yeah.
like a physical book or a
Yeah, with the
CD
movie.
or you know, uh, that just seems wrong
Yeah, it does.
to me. So
Huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the
It's
moral of
sad.
the story is like go buy records,
Yeah.
go, and like all signs point to like there is like a little bit of a renaissance in physical
Oh,
media,
totally, totally.
but I don't know if it's going to be enough to like stop the DRM nightmare from
Yeah.
from happening.
I'll say, watching this movie as difficult as it was at times with John Cusack's character, the nostalgia is really what kept me
Mhm.
because it did feel really nostalgic, and I really, really enjoyed, that sort of late '90s, early 2000s vibe that it gave,
Mhm.
and yeah, it made me want to go to a record store. Honestly, when I finished it,
How much of that is down to Jack Black? I think we should
a
talk about
lot.
Jack Black.
Yeah.
So was this also kind of like, well, I mean, you saw this later, but was this your
I
introduction to Jack Black, or were you already familiar with him by
I
the
I don't
time?
know. I can't remember what. I think Shallow Hal was probably my first
Okay.
introduction to him. So I'm sure I either watched this before and just didn't really clock him, or maybe I saw this movie afterwards. But yeah, he is like Jack Black in this movie. I mean, he's very Jack Black.
Seems like he's playing himself
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah.
I like Jack Black. I find him
Mhm.
amusing like most of the
Mhm.
time. For some reason, like I don't know, maybe just because I was like imagining like versions of this guy in the Watch community, but like I
Mhm.
just like I did not want to spend time with this character.
Yeah.
Like from
Yeah.
the way he barges in the first scene he appears in, and
Yeah.
like and
This is their music.
yeah,
Yeah.
takes that Bell and Sebastian track and like and throws it away and puts on
Yeah.
what song does he play in
I
that
can't remember. Yeah.
Walking on Sunshine, I think is
Oh,
the
yeah.
track.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
Man, I wanted to punch him in the face, which is the point,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
But like
he's really, really unlikable. I wouldn't want to spend time with him, but he's really funny. And I think he really like commands a screen too every time he's in the scene. Like he definitely shines for sure.
yeah. He's definitely playing like an archetype, like a certain type of like a very specific type of know-it-all that I
Mhm.
think exists in music and movies and watches and any sort of like collector or enthusiast community. There's someone who there's a Jack Black,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, they're all a little bit, know-it-alls. What's the friend? Todd, I think is the other friend's
Yeah.
name. He's really funny in this. I really got a kick out of his character rewatching this movie.
Yeah, much more. I mean, he's kind of like the flip side of the Jack Black coin, like equally, knowledgeable and also kind of a snob in his own way, but like not nearly as
he's a little more
abrasive.
Introverted. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he walks into John Cusack's apartment and like the records are everywhere because he's like in the middle of reorganizing everything, and he's just like, you could tell it's really bothering him that they're not sitting up, they're laying on top of each other, which is like not great.
Yep.
And he's trying to like
bothered me
tell
too,
them,
honestly.
yeah, and it's just like you could tell it's like itching at him. But he's a little bit more of a kinder personality and a little bit more introverted, but he's equally as nerdy about all this stuff too.
Yeah. This movie has a low key, like pretty great cast. So we talked about Cusack, Jack Black, also Lisa Bonet is in this movie. She's great in the movie. And of course, Zoe Kravitz, her daughter, would later be the lead in the television version of this.
Yeah.
Like the television adaptation of this. Other people who appear in this movie, Sarah Gilbert, who was a big star at the time, coming off of Roseanne. She's in like one scene.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see her just for a second.
Lily Taylor, Natasha Gregson Wagner plays a journalist at the very end of the movie. Who am I forgetting? Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Robbins?
Oh, Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
Tim Robbins and Catherine Zeta-Jones both appear in this movie. Kind of a fun like 90s cast. Joan Cusack.
Oh yeah, Joan Cusack too. Yeah, she
appears.
was.
Yeah.
Funny character.
What are some of your favorite kind of like scenes or moments like from this movie, which on rewatch we both kind of were let down by?
I think a favorite scene is when they are walking to, or they're going into this, I guess show or little concert of Lisa Bonet's character, and they all are like hating on the fact that like she's singing Peter Frampton, and then they're in love with it because she's singing it.
Yeah. I want to date a musician.
But like that also reminds me of like people that like hate on a watch, but then like James Bond wears it, and then they're all of a sudden like fans of the watch. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
So it's just there's a lot of parallel there. I thought that was quite funny. And then Jack Black singing at the end I thought was pretty good. He sings like a Marvin Gaye song, I believe. And what's funny is like in the beginning he trashes a guy that's like looking for a Stevie Wonder record, and then he sings a Marvin Gaye. So it's like, to me, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But he shines obviously because he's a great singer, and it's a fun little moment. But
yeah, the movie also ends with a Stevie Wonder track.
Yeah.
With a nice little callback.
There. What about you? Favorite scenes or quotes?
So like my favorite scene by far is the one where they're doing the list of like favorite track one side ones, and they have that conversation about like it's about list making.
Yeah.
And it's like Jack Black has a line. Jack Black has a great line about like, throwing in a familiar favorite or throwing in like a new record to kind of like bolster your like, and that just made me that is like that is what we do. Like that is what we do all day.
I know.
It's like
totally
like artful list making. Like that is like what our jobs like kind of like boil down to.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize when I saw this movie when I was 17 years old that one day like I would be doing this for a living. But like there we are. Like sometimes you just the movies predict your future, I guess.
It's true. This is very true. Did you have I have to ask, did you have a favorite girlfriend of John Cusack's character, Rob? Did you have a favorite?
Favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, the one favorite in what sense? So like, I mean, Lisa Bonet, of course, is like the one.
Yeah.
Like she's the.
But I don't even know if I would consider, because he basically just sleeps with her, but he doesn't really. Yeah. She's great and awesome in every possible way in this movie. But like he's messed up all these relationships in his past, and I feel like he really screwed the pooch with the Catherine Zeta-Jones character.
Yeah. For sure. That's the
he had this gorgeous, beautiful woman that was into him, and he just freaking screwed it up.
Yeah. I love the scene where he's standing outside yelling at her in the rain, and he's like, what's the character's name? Is it Charlie or
Charlie?
He yells like, Charlie, you that was an obscenity. Let's work it out. And it's just like it's just very I don't know, like I think probably all of us have either been in that situation or like felt like we were in that situation at some point.
I think he obviously had his own and does have a lot of his own insecurities clearly through this whole movie. And I think you mentioned this in your outline, like the man needs therapy bad.
Yeah, no, he's collecting records instead of going to therapy.
Yeah.
He's a very depressed person, and I hope he got the help he needed at some point in his life so he can
Yeah.
maintain a relationship. So the other thing about this movie that like I did not understand is why Lisa, the woman who breaks up with him at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie and is kind of like the object of, he's trying to like get back to her throughout the entire film. Like, I did not understand why she would be interested in this like depressed like man-child person. Like
Yeah.
her character is a lawyer, like successful, seems to have her shit together, for the most part. And like I think she's just kind of slumming it with Rob. So
Yeah.
don't really understand that. Didn't really
I
ring true.
I also agree, and I mean, I think the guy, the upstairs neighbor, was gross.
Terrible. Yeah. Also, don't. I mean, she just has bad taste in men. I think. Like, because he's
Yeah, I
also
mean,
horrible.
yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like kind of dumb, and yeah, I don't know. They're all dumb. They're all stupid in this movie. Like they're
So do
all.
you like who's your of the ones we see, like who's your do you have a favorite like a
Yeah, I mean, I think I think Catherine Zeta-Jones. I thought he had a ton of potential with her, and really just let his insecurities get the best of him. But then also like Lisa Bonet, like you had this incredible woman that was like interested in you, and he's still so focused on his ex that he
yeah
immediately just moves on right past her. It's like, you freaking idiot. And yeah,
he's
yeah.
just left
So
the
it's a
door open
movie
for
about a lot of bad decisions.
he left the door open for Lenny Kravitz really in that moment,
Yeah.
and not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other kind of like notes on High Fidelity from your rewatch? I'm not familiar. I know about the TV series. I haven't watched it, so like,
Mhm.
but it sounds like you have. So what's your
I thought it
kind of
was
like?
actually really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. Obviously, a flip of character and genders there
Mm-hmm.
with Zoe being the sort of the main character, and obviously a callback to her mom being in the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was really fun, and I think the cast for that, Divine, I can't remember her last name,
Divine Joy
Randolph. Yeah,
Randolph, is
yeah, yeah.
that?
She's
Yeah.
in it, and she's great. She sort of plays that Jack Black-ish
Oh, okay.
character. I felt like the show, Zoe isn't like as bad as John Cusack's character. Like, she has made some mistakes for sure, but she's way more redeemable and way more likable than his character. So I think they made the right changes, especially for a series where you're going to watch like, 8 episodes of this
Sure.
person. So, yeah. But
Yeah, maybe I'll.
it's equally as nerdy. But I'd say, yeah, it's a good, it's one season and one and done. It's a fun little watch.
Does it resolve itself like in a
Yeah,
season, or
yeah,
was
it
it okay?
does. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I don't think they
All right.
intended it. At least it didn't seem like they intended it to like go on beyond
Okay.
that.
Well, that's a good note. I might check that out.
Yeah.
We're recording right ahead of a long weekend here, so maybe
Yeah.
that'll be a binge watch of some. Is it also set in Chicago? The TV
That's a
series?
great question. I don't remember. I would hope so, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's been a while.
Do you have a? I wanted to ask. I don't think I put this in the outline. Do you have a favorite needle drop from this movie? Like a favorite? There's a lot of music in it, and maybe it's a hot take, but I would say like it's not terribly representative of Chicago. Really, like you'd expect maybe like more like blues music or like
Yeah.
notable Chicago
I don't have
bands.
any
Like
like major, music notes from my end. What about you? Is there anything that stood out?
two stand out for me. One is one of my favorite kind of like later period Dylan tracks. Most of the time,
Mm.
plays during a like a kind of like a depressed scene where he's like kind of standing in the rain, and
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's really
remember that.
kind of a sad scene. It's just a great song. There's also a moment where I forget exactly what the circumstances are, but he's on the phone and you can hear Velvet Underground's "Oh Sweet Nothing" in the background, and that's just like one of my favorite Velvet Underground
Yeah.
songs off of Loaded, their final album. And like I think like that's interesting to me because like I don't know, I think of Velvet Underground as like such a quintessential like New York City band, and like
Mm.
that album in particular is like a really like New York City coded record, and like it's not representative of Chicago at all, but it's a great
Well,
track.
you said the director was British, right?
Director's British, yeah. Stephen
Yeah.
Frears is a British
So,
director,
I don't
director
know,
of The
maybe he
Queen
wasn't.
and several other movies that are like very British.
Yeah.
Most of his movies are like kind of like UK set, and this is based
Mhm.
on a novel written by a British man.
Okay.
So Nick Hornby. So yeah, I'm sure that's kind of like why he was like linked to it. It's interesting that he like set it in Chicago. I believe the novel is set in London. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been nice to have a little bit more of, Chicago represented via the music, but, yeah, I don't know, maybe because he's not US based, or I don't know
Yeah.
what his decision process was there.
It is like I mean, there's a lot of great kind of like on location Chicago, just to like bring it back to like the purpose of this podcast. Like it is there's a lot of great like on location Chicago shots. There's lots of great like there's scenes shot on the L, and like a lot
Yeah.
of good kind of like Chicago like street scenes. The record store is in the Wicker Park neighborhood, which is like not an area of the city that like, it's usually shows up on in movies, typically. So like that's cool, but like there like it really could be anywhere. It could like this could be
It
anywhere
could,
that
yeah.
there's a record store, and so it doesn't feel like as essential as Chicago essential as something like like Hoop Dreams, for
Yeah.
example, like the like has to be it's a documentary and it's
Mhm.
about Chicago, but I don't know. And I'm looking at this list. I mean, what is the most essential Chicago? I mean, Dark Knight we talked about
Yeah.
is like shot there, but like obviously very much not Chicago.
I mean, Ferris Bueller, I feel like,
I
has
think
this
it's Ferris
big,
Bueller. I think that's the
like,
answer.
yeah, really big moments in that one.
Yeah. I think the
I
reason
still
it's
love
Ferris
While You Were
Bueller.
Sleeping. I think
Yeah.
it has like some great Chicago moments, and also like it's cold, it's windy during a couple scenes. Like it's the Windy City. It's
Yep.
the winter. Is that the only movie in the winter on this list? I may be. Yeah.
Fugitive is kind of
Oh yeah, I guess
autumnal,
it's
maybe.
kind of, yeah.
I think it's Ferris Bueller because
the parade.
it spans a wider experience of Chicago. Like it starts in the suburbs and it ends in the suburbs, and like you have like the city in between, and it's sort of like that is I think the experience of Chicago for
teenagers on the loose,
for a lot of people, and
yeah.
Because it's this like sprawling place. It's huge,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that kind of like makes sense as like a representative Chicago movie. We should do Ferris Bueller at some point.
We should do that one. Yeah.
Talking about any final thoughts on High Fidelity or Chicago as we head to the
Love
Windy
Chicago.
City?
I will say, like, I've never envisioned myself to be like a city person, and may never live in a city. But if I had to pick one, I think I would pick Chicago. I could live like downtown Chicago. I really, really appreciate that city, the architecture. I think it's really beautiful. Yeah.
Interesting thing to say on the day you bought a home in the greater Nashville area.
Planted here.
Yeah.
For a while at least.
I like Chicago as well. I'm looking forward to being back there for Windup. The thing one of the things I like most about Chicago is that when you order their signature sandwich in the city of Chicago, which is a Chicago Italian beef sandwich, they ask you how wet you want it.
Love it.
That's great. Just like no other place that I can think of that I've ever been asks you how wet you want your sandwich. Do you have a wetness preference for your Chicago
a wet
beef?
sandwich, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I like a lot of dressing and it dripping off of the bread. Yeah.
I can't. I go medium. I don't want it to be it just
I don't want it to be soggy, but yeah. I like it wet.
What do you think of the Chicago? Let's real quick. We'll run through the major Chicago cuisine. Chicago hot dogs. Your thoughts?
I'm mid. I guess I'm in the middle there. I don't love or hate them. I'm not a big hot dog person in general, or brats or anything like that. So
yeah, I think they're exactly
fine.
I think they're a little overrated. They're fine.
Yeah.
There's maybe a reason why they don't serve them that way and anywhere else. Mm-hmm. Deep dish pizza.
I would say I'm a little bit over medium. So like on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say like a 6 or 7.
Okay, that's a lot higher than me. I don't want to do deep dish pizza at all. That's just like that, especially on a weekend where you're there for work.
Not for work, but I think it's good. Yeah.
I'd rather not. I just prefer not.
You don't want your pizza in the form of a pie?
I don't. I mean, I have a different preference for pizza. Yeah. Like give me like a thinner. I need a thin.
I will say my favorite style of pizza is like the Philly style pizza.
Tell me about Philly style pizza. I'm not sure that I
like. It's like more pan style or like pan cooked or whatever. Yeah, I really like because I also like my pizza like a little crunchy. So I like those like corner edges that are pretty good.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the New York like super thin slice.
New Haven pizza is where it's at. It's supreme. It's pizza supremacy. Best pizza.
Everywhere's better than Nashville. So, kudos to everybody else that does pizza.
I'm in New Hampshire, which is a pizza desert. There really is not good pizza here. It's bleak, but that's fine. It's a lot of carbs. You shouldn't be eating a lot of pizza.
No.
Anyway,
what else cuisine wise is there in Chicago?
That's it. Hot dogs. Just the hot dogs, deep dish, and wet beef sandwiches. That's all they eat. It's the Midwest,
Yeah.
Steak, that's
real meaty. Yeah.
Yeah. Chicago's not a place where you can get a nice light meal really easily. That's always my impression there.
Not a light meal, but they have excellent food. And I've had some incredible meals while I've been in town for sure.
We don't do windups in cities that aren't good food cities. Like that would be a deal breaker. Can't do that.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, we're excited to see everybody. Hopefully this will come out before the show, and
it will.
Come visit us. Come visit and say hi and track us down. We'll be running around.
Yeah, and tell us about your favorite Chicago movies and what we missed.
Totally. I'm sure
I'm sure there are Chicago movies that we didn't mention.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be some gangster movies or something we're missing. From
The Untouchables. The Untouchables.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Yeah,
yeah.
A good one.
I mean, that's not. I mean, again, that's like pretty iconic Chicago movie, but just like not big for me. So I didn't include it.
It's not a rewatchable movie. It's like I've seen it a couple times. I'm kind of good for a while.
I love Brian De Palma movies, but that one is just not. If I'm going to watch a De Palma movie, it's not going to be The Untouchables. So anyway,
same.
Well,
all right. Well, this is fun.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks, Kat, for.
This might be the only movie we watched, and we're like, we don't love it. We don't love it as much as we thought we would.
Ed and I did a Christmas episode on the Goonies, or not the Goonies, not the Goonies. What am I thinking of?
Back to the Future.
I'll leave a link to it in this show.
Okay.
What did you suggest?
It wasn't Back to the Future, was it?
No, it wasn't Back to the Future. No. Man, my brain's not working. It's filled with wind-up stuff. I'll leave a link to it. We watched that. We were like, this movie's bad, and so I don't think High Fidelity is bad, but
no, it's not bad.
Not doesn't have the feel good vibes that you're
sometimes you want
looking for.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kat. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. We always appreciate it. We will see you next time on the Time on Screen podcast. Until then, take care.